Hi everybody, welcome to the Kingdom School of Ministry, KSM Global. This is Martin Berry coming to you again from Legacy Church London to help you with your task on hearing from God. And one of the things I want to do in teaching you these practical lessons on how you can develop hearing from God, the most key, most obvious one for me would be relationship. I've called this session Just Ask, because a lot of the things we need from God that we look for, and sometimes we can't see the wood for the trees when we're trying to ask God for stuff, is that in a relationship with someone, the more you get to know someone, the more you get to know about them, the more you recognize the sound of their voice, the more you understand the way they work, the way they speak, the way they do things. And in our individual walks with God, we'll all, I really do believe this, that each one of us as the children of God will develop our own relationship with our Father and how he deals with us individually. Because obviously God doesn't relate to us the same as individuals. I don't believe he does. I believe every one of us, although we're made directly by him and we're fearfully and wonderfully made, we're all intricately made slightly different, and he understands how to relate to us. So obviously I have two sons, and so I don't relate to both of them the same way, because they're both wired differently. So they have different needs and different things that they need from me. So if I just had a kind of one size fits all method with working with my children, that wouldn't benefit them. And so God, the same way like us, he deals with us all and speaks to us all in a way that we understand individually and personally, to help us to relate to him and for him to relate to us. And so so I've called this Just Ask because the Bible's clear in James 1:5. It says, if anyone lacks wisdom, to ask. And it says here, if anyone lacks wisdom, he should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault. And it says, and it shall be given to him. Now, when you ask for wisdom, now I'm teaching you how to suck eggs here for some of you. You know this verse. But one of the things you need to understand, that when you're asking God for wisdom, you're asking, it's like my son coming to me saying, Dad, can I please, be more obedient? Well, of course, I'm not going to try to do anything to hinder that. And I'm not going to point out his faults. So when you're asking for wisdom, God doesn't care about your faults, because if you ask for wisdom, those faults will then dissipate and end up disappearing if you're actually asking for wisdom and receiving it. And as we go through the Bible, there's a couple of prayers that I really love, which can really help you. And I've picked two. And the first one is in Psalm 143. And we're going to look at verses 8 to 11. And this is a Psalm of David. And there was no one greater for me than someone that could relate to God, could blow it with God rawly, and could repent and get back and restore a relationship with God. And I loved it. I loved seeing his relationship. So we're going to read Psalm 143 in verses 8 to 11. And I want to point out some key things that David is asking for here that could benefit us also. And it says this, in verse 8, it says, cause me to hear your loving kindness in the morning. For in you do I trust. Cause me to know the way in which I should walk, for I lift up my soul to you. Verse 9, deliver me, O Lord, from my enemies. In you I take shelter. Verse 10, teach me to do your will, for you are my God. Your spirit is good. Lead me in the land of uprightness. Verse 11, revive me, O Lord, for your name's sake, for your righteousness' sake, bring my soul out of trouble. Just a couple of keys. Verse 8, cause me to hear your loving kindness. Then as you go down, it says, cause me to know the way I should walk. Verse 10, teach me to do your will. When you're praying these things, you're not just praying them out like in a psalm. You're asking God. So what you need to do is, when you're reading these, I personalize these for myself, and I say, Lord, I want that. I want you to cause me to walk in the way you would want me to walk. I want you to teach me to do the things you want me to do. And I believe God will honor that. And the second one I've chosen is Psalm 119, verses 9 to 16. Now, there's been a lot of debate about who wrote this. A lot of people think it could have been Daniel, it could have been David. For me, it doesn't matter who wrote it. It could have been Gary. There is no one called Gary, but for me, it doesn't matter. What's in it that matters. And if we listen to Psalm 119, verse 9 and 16, it says this. How can a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed according to your word. With my whole heart I have sought you. Oh, let me not wander from your commandments. Your word I have hidden in my heart, that I might not sin against you. And verse 12, blessed are you, O Lord, teach me your statutes. 13, with my lips I have declared all the judgments of your mouth. 14, I have rejoiced in the way of your testimonies as much as all your riches. 15, I will meditate on your precepts and contemplate your ways. 16, I will delight myself in your statutes. I will not forget your word. Now I'm just going over time here, but I want to make this is so important for us. In Psalm 119, 3 things: knowing the word, stowing the word, and then showing the word. That's going to help you with hearing from God, because it's going to strengthen you in areas of relationship with him when you're reading these things and you're saying, I want to take heed according to your word. I want to hide your words in my heart. With my lips, I want to declare them. That's key for us. So again, if you're in a place where you're hearing from God, if you're in a place where the word is around you, you are more likely to hear from God, because you're putting yourself in a position to hear from him and you're asking for it. So I just want to bless you and ask that as you go through these sessions and as you're reading these prayers, that God will speak to you and you'll start to understand that quiet, still, small voice. Bless you. I just thank you so much. We appreciate you, and I'll speak to you soon.